you ever felt like the world is on the brink of something profound? Something you can't quite explain? History is filled with mysterious figures whose words echo long after they've left this world. One of the most fascinating among them is Padre Pio, a man of faith whose spiritual visions defied explanation. His prophecies were whispered warnings, meant not to create fear, but to awaken our deeper understanding of life's unfolding mysteries. As his life neared its end, Padre Pio shared predictions that were startlingly specific. He spoke of spiritual decline, moral confusion, and unprecedented challenges that would test humanity's soul. These were not vague philosophical musings. They were warnings rooted in what he claimed were divine revelations. In recent years, many believe that his visions are coming true with chilling accuracy. But what did Padre Pio really see? Some say his final words were a message for the future. Others believe he foresaw events that are only now beginning to unfold. As the world faces crises of faith, unity, and survival, could it be that his predictions are playing out in real time? And if so, what does that mean for us today? Stay with us as we explore Padre Pio's life, his mystical encounters, and the powerful prophecies he left behind. We will uncover 12 stunning revelations about 2025 that could reshape our understanding of what's to come. Be prepared. You may never see the world the same way again. And if you haven't already, subscribe now and be part of a community seeking truth, meaning, and purpose in a time when clarity seems lost. This is more than a story. It's a journey into the unknown, guided by the words of a man whose spiritual legacy continues to inspire millions worldwide. Let's begin. Padre Pio's life and legacy. To understand the depth of Padre Pio's prophecies, we must first explore the extraordinary life he lived. A life marked by spiritual devotion, unimaginable suffering, and miracles that defy logic. Born Francesco Forgione in 1887 in Pietrelcina, Italy, he grew up in a humble, deeply religious family. From an early age, he displayed an intense spiritual awareness, claiming to see heavenly visions and even battling dark, malevolent forces unseen by others. His spiritual journey led him to become a Capuchin friar, taking the name Padre Pio, but his path was anything but ordinary. In 1918, something happened that would forever mark him as a man set apart: the appearance of the stigmata. These mysterious wounds mirrored the crucifixion wounds of Christ, causing him intense physical pain for the next 50 years. Doctors and skeptics alike could not explain how such wounds could persist without infection or decay. Was it a divine sign, a spiritual mystery, or something beyond human understanding? Despite his suffering, Padre Pio's unwavering faith drew thousands of pilgrims from around the world. His humble monastery in San Giovanni Rotondo became a place of miracles. Stories of miraculous healings, mind-reading confessions, and even bilocation, being in two places at once, spread like wildfire. Some believed he was a living saint, while others dismissed him as a fraud. The Catholic Church itself investigated him several times, yet his reputation only grew stronger. But Padre Pio never sought fame or recognition. He often warned against becoming attached to worldly praise, emphasizing humility, prayer, and service. His legacy is a testament to enduring faith through hardship, a lesson we need now more than ever. His life reminds us that even in the darkest moments, the human spirit can rise when anchored in something greater than itself. Could this resilience be the key to understanding his visions for humanity's future? The final days of Padre Pio. The final days of Padre Pio's earthly journey were as mysterious and spiritually charged as the life he lived. Those closest to him spoke of a palpable sense of divine presence surrounding him, almost as if heaven itself was waiting at the edges of his small monastery room. He knew his time was nearing its end, and with characteristic humility, he prepared himself for the inevitable. One of his last requests was a simple but deeply symbolic one: a statue of Saint Joseph, the protector of souls. He seemed to draw strength from its presence, perhaps knowing that the journey from this life to the next would require spiritual guardianship. But the most extraordinary sign came as his stigmata. Wounds that had bled for 50 years began to fade without a trace. How could wounds so persistent vanish overnight? Was this a sign of divine closure or a final mystery meant to inspire reflection? Then came his haunting final words: "I see two mothers." To this day, theologians and spiritual seekers debate what he meant. Some believe he saw the Virgin Mary and his earthly mother waiting to guide him home. Others interpret it as seeing two aspects of divine compassion, mercy and grace, embracing him in his last moments. But perhaps the most profound mystery lies in what he didn't say. His silence in those final moments spoke louder than words, leaving behind a spiritual legacy that still calls out to seekers today. Was his departure a final message that life's greatest truths can only be understood through faith and inner transformation? His passing wasn't just the end of a life, it was the beginning of a spiritual movement that would transcend generations. His story, his struggles, and his words live on, urging us to look beyond the material world and seek something far greater. Could his final moments contain hidden messages meant for us, messages we are only now beginning to understand? Predictions that came true. Padre Pio's prophecies were not abstract musings meant for distant centuries. They were direct warnings rooted in spiritual insight. Many of these predictions seem to have materialized in ways that are hard to dismiss. He spoke frequently of humanity's moral decline, societal unrest, and the struggle between good and evil intensifying in the modern world. Consider his warnings about the breakdown of spiritual values. He described a future where faith would be abandoned by many and where people would fall into moral confusion, consumed by materialism and power struggles. Are we not seeing this today in a world obsessed with instant gratification, where ethical principles are often sacrificed for success or convenience? Padre Pio also spoke of great wars and unrest. He lived through the devastation of 2 world wars but hinted that even greater spiritual conflicts would arise in the future. Political divisions, global conflicts, and even the fracturing of communities seem to reflect the spiritual disunity he foresaw. The rise of conflicts in religion, culture, and governance echoes his warnings of a world torn by ideological battles. He also predicted a time when humanity would be forced to confront the consequences of its actions. Climate crises, environmental degradation, and mass extinctions seem to fit his vision of humanity paying the price for neglecting its sacred duty as caretakers of the earth. But even in the midst of these warnings, Padre Pio spoke of hope. He believed that in times of great trial, humanity would rediscover its spiritual core, returning to faith, compassion, and unity. His prophecies were never about doom. They were calls to awaken and transform. Could this be the hidden purpose behind his mystical visions? A divine reminder that even in the darkest times, we have the power to change our destiny? The mystical vision of Padre Pio. Padre Pio's mystical experiences were as profound as they were mysterious. He claimed to have visions of heaven, hell, and purgatory, realms beyond ordinary comprehension. He spoke of these spiritual dimensions not as abstract ideas, but as living realities he experienced through divine encounters. His vivid descriptions left those around him both awestruck and uneasy. One of his most striking visions was of the battle between good and evil, forces constantly at war for the souls of humanity. He described encounters with dark, malevolent entities attempting to disrupt his prayers and even physically harm him. These terrifying experiences were not merely symbolic. They were battles fought through intense spiritual endurance. Padre Pio believed that spiritual warfare wasn't reserved for mystics alone. It affects every human being navigating life's trials. His revelations about purgatory also fascinated many. He described souls in a state of purification, yearning for redemption but unable to move forward without spiritual aid. He often prayed for these souls, believing that intercession could bring them closer to divine forgiveness. This belief in unseen spiritual struggles reshaped how many viewed life's hardships, not as punishment, but as opportunities for purification and growth. Padre Pio's encounters with angels added another dimension to his mystical life. He often spoke of guardian angels as real, personal beings sent to guide and protect each individual. His unwavering connection to his own guardian angel inspired many to seek deeper spiritual awareness in their daily lives. Perhaps his most urgent warning came from his vision of a world slipping into spiritual darkness. He foresaw a time when humanity would turn away from faith, consumed by material pursuits and moral confusion. Yet, even in his darkest visions, there was always a path back to divine grace. He believed that through humility, prayer, and genuine love for one another, humanity could overcome even the most insurmountable spiritual challenges. Was his vision meant as a prophecy, or as a call to action for all of us living through uncertain times? Padre Pio's relevance today. What makes Padre Pio's story resonate so deeply even decades after his passing? Perhaps it's because the world he warned about looks strikingly similar to the one we live in today. His predictions of moral decay, spiritual emptiness, and growing societal unrest now seem less like mystical warnings and more like accurate descriptions of modern life. Look around and you'll see signs of the spiritual crisis he foresaw: declining faith in traditional values, widening divisions in politics and culture, and an increasing focus on material wealth and technological advancement at the expense of human connection. Padre Pio believed that this spiritual disconnection would be humanity's greatest test, not external forces, but the erosion of our inner selves. Consider the environmental crises unfolding around us: devastating wildfires, rising sea levels, and disappearing ecosystems. Though he lived in a time long before climate change was understood, Padre Pio frequently urged humanity to be better stewards of the earth. To him, neglecting nature was a reflection of spiritual neglect, an inability to see the divine in creation. He also foresaw challenges in relationships, communities, and global cooperation. In a world increasingly polarized by ideological and cultural conflicts, his call for compassion and understanding feels more urgent than ever. He believed that only through a return to spiritual awareness, rooted in humility and genuine love, could humanity find its way back to peace. Yet Padre Pio never left us without hope. He spoke of a spiritual awakening that would arise from humanity's darkest hour, a time when people would rediscover the power of faith, kindness, and purpose. Could we be approaching such a turning point now? His warnings were not about punishment, but about transformation, a spiritual wake-up call meant to inspire collective action and inner change. The Hidden Prophecies of 2025. As we approach 2025, many believe that the events unfolding in the world align with mystical prophecies, including those attributed to Padre Pio. His spiritual foresight hinted at both great challenges and extraordinary possibilities. Could his predictions offer guidance for what lies ahead? Consider these startling possibilities based on his spiritual legacy, a resurgence of faith. Despite growing secularism, Padre Pio envisioned a return to spiritual practices worldwide. He believed humanity would be driven back to faith, not by force, but through personal awakening sparked by life's hardships, environmental awareness. He often spoke of humanity's duty to care for the earth. In 2025, could we witness an unprecedented environmental movement, one where global cooperation finally addresses climate crises with urgency and unity, technological breakthroughs? Imagine a world where technology enhances not just convenience but genuine human connection. Could an unforeseen innovation redefine how we relate to each other in ways both practical and spiritual? Geopolitical shifts. Padre Pio warned of tensions between nations that could escalate if not tempered by wisdom and diplomacy. Are we on the brink of such a critical moment where peace depends on spiritual guidance as much as political will? Miracle events. Throughout history, miracles have united people across cultural and religious divides. Could a miraculous event, spiritual or otherwise, occur in 2025 to awaken collective consciousness? Holistic healing focus. With global health concerns increasing, there may be a renewed focus on holistic and spiritual healing practices. Ancient wisdom rediscovered through modern necessity. Supernatural encounters. Unexplained phenomena have always intrigued humanity. Will 2025 see an increase in supernatural encounters that challenge our understanding of reality? Economic disruptions. Economic instability could pave the way for alternative systems rooted in community, compassion, and sustainability, values Padre Pio emphasized in his teachings. Spiritual leaders rising. In times of crisis, spiritual leaders often emerge, guiding communities toward hope and healing. Could new, unexpected leaders rise from the shadows to inspire global change? Ancient wisdom revealed. Imagine long-hidden knowledge from ancient texts coming to light, offering spiritual truths the modern world desperately needs. Science meets spirituality. Padre Pio believed that science and spirituality were not opposing forces, but two paths leading to the same truth. Could 2025 be the year when groundbreaking discoveries align with age-old spiritual teachings? A celestial event. Many spiritual traditions speak of cosmic events that signal transformation. Could a major celestial occurrence ignite a global spiritual awakening, reminding humanity of its deeper purpose? These possibilities aren't just predictions, they're calls for spiritual readiness. Padre Pio's prophecies urge us to reflect, prepare, and embrace the unknown with faith and courage. Lessons from Padre Pio's letters. Padre Pio's letters offer timeless spiritual wisdom, practical guidance, and personal reflections that continue to inspire millions. They reveal a man deeply attuned to human struggles, one who believed that even the darkest trials could lead to spiritual growth if met with faith and perseverance. He often encouraged his followers to pray, hope, and don't worry, emphasizing trust in God's divine plan. His letters remind us that life's most difficult moments are not punishments, but opportunities for spiritual purification. He urged patience in suffering, seeing it as a path toward spiritual strength and inner peace. Padre Pio also warned against spiritual complacency. He believed that prayer wasn't just a ritual but a lifeline, a way to stay connected to the divine through every challenge. His letters often encouraged daily self-reflection, compassion for others, and unwavering trust in God's mercy. He also spoke of resisting temptations, not just in obvious ways, but in the subtle, everyday struggles we face. To him, even small acts of kindness, forgiveness, and humility carried immense spiritual weight. These lessons remain profoundly relevant in a world where distractions and negativity abound. His letters inspire us to see beyond immediate circumstances, offering hope that even in life's storms, divine guidance is never far away. Perhaps this is the ultimate message of his life. Faith is not about having all the answers, it's about trusting in a greater purpose, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. The way forward. Padre Pio's story is a profound reminder that the spiritual world is closer than we think, intertwined with our everyday lives. His life of unwavering faith, deep spiritual insight, and mystical encounters continues to inspire millions around the globe. But beyond the miracles and prophecies lies a timeless message, one of hope, resilience, and the transformative power of spiritual awareness. His prophecies were never meant to instill fear. They were divine wake-up calls meant to inspire positive change. He believed that humanity's struggles, both personal and collective, could become pathways to spiritual awakening if approached with humility, compassion, and courage. His teachings urge us to trust in a greater purpose, even when the future seems uncertain or overwhelming. Perhaps his greatest legacy is this: no matter how dark the world may seem, light is always within reach, through prayer, faith, and genuine love for one another. His life reminds us that we are not powerless in the face of adversity. Through spiritual resilience, personal transformation, and shared compassion, we can rise above life's challenges and create a world guided by higher principles. So, what if Padre Pio's predictions were not just warnings but invitations to reflect, to awaken, and to act with purpose? What if his legacy was never about foreseeing the future, but about guiding humanity toward its highest potential? As you carry the wisdom of his life and prophecies with you, remember that the path to spiritual enlightenment is not a distant, mystical quest. It is a journey that begins in your heart, in the smallest acts of kindness, in choosing hope over fear, and in believing that even in the face of uncertainty, something greater is at work. Thank you for being part of this exploration. May Padre Pio's legacy inspire you to seek deeper meaning, find spiritual strength, and live with purpose and love. Stay tuned for more revelations, stories, and timeless wisdom that can guide your journey toward truth and enlightenment. Until next time, trust in the unseen, believe in the power of faith, and know that you are never truly alone on your spiritual path.